When you are in a relationship, you never want your significant other to ever feel misrepresented in any type of way. The sad truth is that it happens more frequently than we even suspect. Often we leave our mates out on an island, isolated from what we have seen others in relationships do. We forget the harsh reality that we're in our own relationship. I've heard it time and time again that the grass is not greener on the other side. But for so many people, it looks that way. And if the truth be told, if it looks that way, it might just be artificial grass designed to take your focus. The Relationship Therapy Podcast will address the issue of relationship comparison in this episode.
You've tuned into the Relationship Therapy Podcast with Tony Miller Sr., a podcast designed for couples who are married, couples who are dating, and have marriage in their future. We will guide you to the principles that will make your relationship better. Stick around. You might just learn something that will help your relationship last longer, grow stronger, and become healthier. Now, here's your host, Tony Miller Sr.
Hello, everybody. This is Tony Miller of the Relationship Therapy Podcast. I just broke into this episode just to let you know that we are looking for sponsors of our podcast. If you are a business, if you're a new business looking for more clientele, one of the best ways for you to do that is to sponsor here at this podcast. We are in over 450 cities worldwide. And that will help get your name out, get your image out, and what you do out. All you've got to do is contact us at tmrelationshiptherapy@gmail.com, and we will get you all the information you need to make a decision for sponsoring on our podcast. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Relationship Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Miller Sr., and I'm excited that you're tuning in this week because we are going to have another great episode for you. Matter of fact, we opened season 3 last week talking about relationship comparison. In this episode, we're going a little deeper into what type of harm it does to your relationship. I don't believe the intention of people having relationship comparison is for the relationship to get worse. But in fact, it is meant for it to be better because they are sizing their relationship up against another. But when they do that, it can cause great harm to their already existing relationship. And I want to give you the reasons not to do relationship comparison with your relationship. Okay, let's dive right in. Here's the first reason not to do relationship comparison. Relationship comparison, number one, is not fair to your mate or your relationship. The bottom line is that relationships are different. They're made up of two people who came from different families and possibly totally different backgrounds. Even if the backgrounds are similar, there is always that hint of difference involved. Part of that is the beauty of being in a relationship. But when one of the mates is spending a lot of time watching other relationships and comparing, it places a little strain on that relationship. I don't believe that it's fair to go through the comparison process because there are too many intangibles that loses its value during this process. Let me explain it to you this way. I love to watch certain comedies on television. They make me laugh, and I will laugh with the best of them. However, I also love all of the Law and Order episodes. These two types of TV program are vastly different from each other, but I love them both. There are different qualities about each, but I still love them. So when your mate sees something in another relationship that gets them excited and they feel like they're missing it in their own relationship, it shouldn't delete or even decrease the value of what your mate in your relationship brings to the table. It's unfair to compare my TV shows because they are in separate categories. The same is true regarding your relationship. You are in two separate categories, or should I say, you're in two separate relationships. And what works in one relationship may not work in the other. And prior to seeing what that other relationship's highlight is, you were very content with where you were or where your relationship stood. Make sure you do your due diligence and work on what your relationship is building, despite what somebody else is doing. Here's number 2. Relationship comparisons give you unrealistic expectations. I have discovered that something else may look better than what you currently have, even if it's the same thing. That is often what happens when somebody starts relationship comparison. The other relationship is doing the same things that you and your mate is doing, but theirs seems so much more shinier. Their car seems more shinier than yours. Their PDA, public display of affection, seems more realistic than yours. Or he looks like he appreciates her more than you have been appreciated by your boo. It becomes unrealistic when you're expecting your mate to act just like that person's mate acts. This is a highly flammable territory that you're entering in once you get this far. Let me help somebody before they disappear down the rabbit hole of relationship comparison. If we begin expecting our mate to act like somebody else, or expecting them to do things like somebody else, or show appreciation like somebody else, you have delved yourself into this territory where you may not be able to return from it with your mate. Let your mate be who they are. Who they are is one of the reasons that you are with them in the first place. I think I need to repeat that. Who your mate is one of the reasons that you're with them in the first place. Sure, they may have some weaknesses and they may not do everything that you would hope for. But again, that's part of the challenge of relationships. If you can pass the challenge stage, you will probably pass more stages in the future. But don't place unrealistic expectations on the one that you say you love. It could provide hazardous problems to the longevity of your relationship. And let me finish up this episode with number 3. So far, we've talked about relationship comparison is not fair to your mate or your relationship. Number 2, relationship comparison gives you unrealistic expectations. And here is number 3. Relationship comparison causes you to lose focus on your relationship. The people who buy new cars to make sure that there is enough transportation in the family, I understand that they do this. And sometimes the new car may seem as though it is operating much better than the older car. The truth is that just might be true, or it could be the opposite. It could depend on the model and year of your car. Newer cars typically will have more bells and whistles than your current car. So many of us will buy the new car and start paying a great deal of attention to that new car. But answer this question. What happens to the older car? For some reason, it doesn't get quite as much as attention as it used to get. Now let's look at it from the perspective of someone constantly comparing relationships. Because your focus is on the other relationship so much, maybe, just maybe, you lose sight of the relationship that is your very own. The novelty of your relationship may have worn off, but the relationship that you can't seem to take your eyes off of, it's beginning to get your full attention. You spend your time hoping that your relationship gets better, like the one that you keep watching. But the problem is you're not cultivating your relationship because you're too busy watching somebody else's. There will be things that you will take for granted in your own relationship when you're talking about someone else or what some other relationship is doing. Your focus is gone and you don't seem to know how to get it back. You're ignoring the most important person in your life and displaying to them that they can stay on the back burner because I'm busy focusing on another relationship. No mate likes being left behind or left out. And we don't like being compared to another relationship or to someone else. So make sure that your relationship is getting the attention it needs. It is getting the focus that it deserves. Because when you do, I just believe that people will be talking about your relationship being so good instead of you having to look across the fence and see how somebody else's relationship is. So remember, you have to stay focused on your relationship. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope this has helped somebody. We're going to give you 3 more reasons not to be in relationship comparison next week. But I hope this week we gave you something to grab hold of, something that you can take and use for your advantage to strengthen your relationship, because your relationship is you and your mates. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing. Spend more time concentrating on yours to make your relationship better. And I guarantee you, if you put forth that effort and your mate put forth that effort, your relationship will be the talk of the town. Well, that's it. Listen, come back next week. We're going to give you some more of this relationship comparison. In 2 episodes, the Relationship Therapy Podcast will be celebrating our 50th episode. And we're going to have a very, very special guest with us on that episode. So tune in, stay with us. And as always, in closing, it takes 2 to make a relationship work. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Relationship Therapy Podcast with Tony Miller Sr. We hope you have enjoyed this episode. Tune in next time for more insight on how to make your relationship better. If you have any questions, please email us at tmrelationshiptherapy@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, remember, it takes 2 to make the relationship work.